One. And we are live. And we are live. And boys, it is here. NFL football, less than, what, a little more than 24 hours away. I'm fired up. Carson started the show saying, what a game tomorrow night. Carson Shear, you're up first. Opening comments, Carson. How fired up are you for this NFL season?
Yeah, it's the most wonderful time of the year if you're a football fan. You know, we had a sprinkle of college football last week, and we got a great game tomorrow with the Rams and Bills. And week one of the NFL season is this Sunday. I'm looking forward to it.
Mr. Siciliano had a walkthrough last Saturday, but he's got a real one on this Saturday. What's going on, Mr. Sis?
Not too much. You hit it on the head. This is not going to be no cakewalk, so we got to get serious. No mistakes.
Okay. Mr. Rosen, how are you?
Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, fans. Looking forward to a great show, number one. Number two, the start of the NFL season. And no matter how good or bad your team is, everyone's always an optimist that first week of the season. So let's get it going.
And, oh, wait, guys, hold on. Breaking news, Oregon just scored again on Kenny's. I'm sorry, Georgia just scored on Kenny's Oregon team again. It's 72-3. Mr. Kirkpatrick,
that was good.
Me and Sis last week said Kenny's going to win some money for a new laptop. I don't think a new laptop's coming because I know Kenny took Oregon. I know he took Oregon. He took Cincinnati. Kenny had a rough weekend, boys.
Well,
a rough weekend.
Kurt somewhat knows me because I did not take Cincinnati. I took Arkansas. So,
okay.
With that being said, NFL preview show. Looking forward to it. And you know what, guys? It would not be an NFL preview show without sharing this on the screen. Whatever. There it is.
That's good.
There it is.
Great.
The NFL preview. We don't need. That's the NFL preview right there.
Was,
Next, that's all you need to know right there.
Let me ask you this, Kenny. Let me ask you this.
Captain. Yep.
Guys, but here's the question. How does he hold up against like a no-huddle team? Like, you think he'd be able to go a series or two, or what do you think as a defensive end?
Oh, yeah. He would eat that up alive.
You think today?
Chip Kelly would wear him down.
I couldn't go 4 downs. Are you kidding me?
Scoop's with us, I believe. We don't have him on video, Kurt.
Mr. Scoops, are you there, Mr. Scoops?
Yeah, I don't think that I didn't hear who it was, but I don't think whoever it was is the one who needs the new computer because this thing's giving me crap again.
No, well, listen, if you need advice, don't go to Kenny. You guys will never get computers. Stay away from Kenny.
Well, spoiler alert for tomorrow. Keeping track of wins, and if you do want a laptop, go with Carson because he's in the lead. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Well,
how many did he win last week?
I got it written down. I think Carson, you have 10 wins, and I think the next closest is 8.
Nice.
You got a little couple.
But guys, after this past weekend, Kenny is banned from talking any Pac-12 teams, Utah, Oregon. Since all those small schools, I mean, listen, Houston, Kenny's saying Houston's going to be in the playoff. They almost lost to UTSA, so that's out. So he's not allowed to talk, and any of those American teams, Cincinnati, that's all out. So we don't have to listen to that garbage for the whole year.
My last thing is I'm called what? The Fraud Slayer?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to fraud slay you right now, Kurt.
Go ahead.
You talk about your SEC. You're an SEC guy. You came on the Wits and Wagers last week and took Utah over Florida.
Yeah, I did.
That's a good segue, because I was just about to say, who said Florida was going to win last week?
Yeah, you know what? That was stupid on my part. Stupid.
We can go on for days with bickering and stuff, but we got an NFL preview show for the audience. So let's get into the NFL preview, boys. And we're going to start NFL preview this year. We're going to do the NFC North. And to break down the NFC North is going to be Carson and Kurt. We're going to get Carson's breakdown on his Detroit Lions. We're going to start off. Yes, we are starting to show off with the Detroit. I don't know if you get that anywhere else, but you get the Detroit Lions starting the K&K NFL
Let's go.
Preview.
Hey.
Yeah.
Carson, you're up. Give us a little 2 to 3 minute preview on your Lions, and then Kurt and Carson break down the NFC North for us.
Yeah, for sure. A lot happened this offseason with the draft, change of ownership and general manager. We kind of cleared house over the past couple of years. Brad Holmes has done a great job. Dan Campbell, second year as a head coach, so we'll see what he's got going on. And I know everybody knows that the Lions were on Hard Knocks this past month and a half or so, so a lot of people are behind us this year. But yeah, I'm excited. I think this is a prove-it year for Jared Goff. He struggled last year, but then again, he was thrown to our third-string wide receiver. So we got a nice young receiver core this year. Took a shot on Jamison Williams in the draft. I think he said he's supposed to be back around week 8 or 9, so that'll be interesting to see what happens there. Got a really solid offensive line. Defense still has a bunch of question marks with, but at least we got Aiden Hutchinson in the draft. He's going to be leading the way for us as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the Lions. I say this every single year. My friends and I get so hyped for them. This is the year. So I'm going to turn it down just a little bit, but I think we do improve though. Last year we only had 3 wins last season, but I think we at least double our wins to at least a minimum 6 wins. If we don't win at least 6 games, that's a really disappointment there. So I'm looking forward to it though. It should be interesting.
Awesome. And quick question, Carson, are you Jameson Williams? You say he's back. What, they moved up a lot to get him, so I think that he's going to fit right in. And that's Sis's guy at Alabama.
Yeah,
he'll tell you how good he was at Alabama. I think you're going to be very excited about him. Kurt, why don't you give us a little thoughts on the NFC, and then we'll back it up with Carson's thoughts on the rest of the NFC.
NFC or just NFC North?
NFC North.
Yeah, listen, I'm going to be honest. I might be higher on the Lions than Carson. I think they're going to be good. Listen, I'm not a Goff fan, but that team's going to run the ball. I love their coach, and now you're throwing some weapons, right? They got St. Brown. Now you got when Jameson's back. I mean, listen, I like this team, and the one team I don't like, and I hope Mr. Verrilli's not watching because he's probably going to be F-bombing the show, but the Bears. I mean, that's just a mess, man. Mess.
They're horrible.
Horrible. Justin Fields. And, I'm going to say, because I'm never high on Kirk Cousins, never, but I like that team, and I'll give you a little spoiler. I think they're going to be a wild card team, potentially win that division. But I still think the Packers are the team. All the drama with Aaron Rodgers, he's going to get traded. Is he not going to play? Yada, yada. He's back. Over $50 million a year. They took away Devontae Adams, though. I mean, Devontae Adams leaves. But, and we'll get into this later. You know what, though? When you're a $50 million quarterback, you don't need top-notch receivers because you make people top-notch receivers. So I think the Packers are the class still of the division, but I think it's going to be very competitive with those 3 teams. And I would not be surprised at all if the Lions win a nice amount of share of their games this year.
How about the rest of the division, Carson? What are you looking forward to with the Packers, Bears, and Vikings? How do you think they're going to pan out?
Yeah, sure. Kind of piggyback off of what Kurt said. I think this Vikings team is going to shock a lot of people this year. I think they're definitely in the conversation for arguably top 10 offense in the league. You got Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, Kirk Cousins is not a bad quarterback by any means necessary, a decent OL and a solid defense. So I think the Vikings are going to creep up in the division. I think it's a 2-way race, though. I think the Packers, I'm with Kurt here. I think they're going to still be the top dog. Aaron Rodgers, I mean, he's a bad man for a reason. Nobody's going to take him as long as he's with the Packers. So he's there with them as well. And yeah, like Kurt said, this Bears team is, you look at it on paper, I mean, guys want to leave. New coach, Justin Fields, second year. I do like him. I don't like the situation he's in, though. I mean, David Montgomery and Darnell Mooney, maybe those are your 2 bright spots on the team, but I think the Bears are going to finish last in this division. They might be the worst team in football right there with the Falcons. So if I were to rank the teams, I would go Packers 1, Vikings 2, Lions 3, Bears 4.
Kenny, good friend Keith Brugman saying the Packers take a step back and the Vikings take the division.
Keith, thanks for joining. Check out Keith, Denver Broncos Roundup, Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Great Bronco talk and NFL talk show. Kurt, Sis, Paul, Ryan, any questions on the NFC North for the guys?
No, it's funny because I also have strong feelings about the Vikings as we get into it. I think the Vikings also are going to be a surprise team this year. I think with their first year coach, I think they're gonna surprise a lot of people. I'm not saying they're going to win the division, but I think they're going to be very, very competitive this year.
Sis, I got a comment for Sis. This is from Keith Brugman. You guys thought I was joking with Kenny when he had a rough weekend with his college football picks. He started off this week already bad. He said Keith's show is 8 o'clock. It's 8:30 Eastern. So Kenny's right off to where Kenny always goes.
All right, thanks, Keith, for correcting me. I'm sorry about that. I got a question for Kurt and Carson. I'll start with Kurt. The same question. Loss of Davante Adams, Kurt. Lack of a veteran receiver over there. Are you concerned about that at all?
You know why? And Keith is
I'm not
asking
saying for the NFC North, but to get to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, well,
you're not concerned?
Again, Keith is saying, who is Aaron Rodgers throwing to these days? Antonio Freeman? Listen, when you're a stud quarterback and you make $50 million, hey, go make somebody a star. And you know what? He has, right? Really, Davante Adams, okay, I'm not going to say he wasn't a good college player, but he wasn't like an all-world guy coming out. Rodgers made him, right? All these other guys, MVS. Rodgers has had nobody, and look what Aaron Rodgers has done. I'm not worried about him at all. He's a $50 million quarterback. He will make those players into stars. That's what star elite quarterbacks do, so I'm not worried about him at all.
What about you, Carson?
Yeah, I think Davante's going to be fine with the Raiders. Obviously, it's a big loss to the Packers because now you have to find your number one wideout. I do like Christian Watkins a lot. I think he was a steal in the second round that they got him with. I know the Packers really wanted Jameson, and when the Lions jumped ahead of him to take him, they were pretty upset about that. But they got Christian Watkins, so I feel like it's pretty big shoes to fill for Davante, but I feel like Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. He's going to make mediocre receivers look like the Randy Moss. So I think they're going to be just fine.
Sis, Ryan, anything for the guys on the NFC?
No, I think they pretty much nailed it.
Yeah, I've got something, but I'm going to save it for a little bit later. That tails off of some of what's been talked about, but I'm going to save that for a little bit.
Okay, and then real quick prediction: who comes out of this, Carson?
I would not be surprised if the Vikings won this. I think it's a two-way race, but I would still go with the Packers taking it once again.
Kurt,
I will take the Pack. Do you want to know if I have a wild card team in this division?
No, just going division. Just going. Who comes out on top? Anybody pulling the trigger?
Keith is asking Randall Cobb as a starter. I'm going Packers and win the division.
I would say he has to start, right? Randall Cobb?
Yeah, I mean, again, they got him. They got the kid Watson. They got the kid Dobbs, I believe it is, or Dobbs. Again, I'm not worried about. Rodgers is just going to make people into stars. That's just what those quarterbacks do.
Sis, are you pulling the trigger, or is it Green Bay by a landslide?
No, I'm going with Carson. I think it was Carson or Paul. I think Minnesota's going to be the sleeper in that division this year. They're well coached and they got a good offense. Kid Jefferson's a nightmare, and their defense is pretty decent. So I'll take the Vikings in that division.
Nice. I'm going to take Green Bay, but Minnesota as a wild card, like Kurt said, that's going to be a sneaky team. Paul.
I have the Packers winning it, and as Kurt said, I also had picked the Vikings as a wild card.
And Ryan, give us your prediction.
Someone get me a tiny Pepsi because I'm going Minnesota.
There you go.
Sis and Ryan going Minnesota. The rest of us got Green Bay. Nice.
Keith is saying he agrees with Sis. Jefferson is a nightmare in capital letters.
Put him right up there with Jerry Jeudy, man. He's good.
I like you say that name, my friend.
Absolutely. It's my boy from Bama.
Let's move on to our next division, boys. And we got Carson for about another 15 to 20 minutes. So I got Carson co-hosting the AFC North with me. So we're going to do this one next. So because Carson has to leave in a little bit. So Carson and I are going to break down the AFC North. Surprising Cincinnati Bengals made it to the Super Bowl last year. You got a lot of news in this division. The Lamar Jackson contract talks. Is he going to be a Raven next year? You got the Steelers, Ben Roethlisberger retiring. And, of course, you got the Deshaun Watson drama in Cleveland, Baker Mayfield going over to Carolina. So a lot of news in this division, Carson. You want to break it down for us? We're not going to break down a team since none of our teams are in this division, but we'll break down it as a whole.
Yeah, definitely. Coming right out the get-go, I mean, you got three solid, nice quarterbacks. The Steelers are still having controversies with who their number one guy is going to be. They say it's going to be Mitch Trubisky to start the year, but Kenny Pickett might take the job away from him depending on how Trubisky does this year. Obviously, like you said, Kenny, the Browns are kind of a nightmare in their own territory with the quarterback situation. Jacoby Brissett has got the job for the starting quarterback for the Browns right now. And then I think Deshaun comes back week 14, which is a long way away, but hopefully they can kind of still maintain their ground in that division when Watson comes back, because I feel like Deshaun Watson is going to put on a show when he returns. Joe Burrow, Bengals, like you said, Kenny, AFC champions, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, Joe Mixon. They upgraded their offensive line. The Bengals, they give me so much hope as a Lions fan because they were the worst team in the league 2 years ago. And it's pretty amazing that they made a Super Bowl in a huge turnaround. Not to mention in Joe Burrow's first full healthy season, he took them to a Super Bowl, which is pretty insane. And the Ravens, again, Lamar Jackson, people forgot that this guy's a former MVP. Obviously, they had a big loss with Marquise Brown going to the Cardinals, I want to say. The Ravens are going to be in the mix as well. They got a really nice defense, had a great draft, picking up some defensive players as well. I think the front runner here, though, is I think the Cincinnati Bengals. Too much talent offensively. I would go with the Bengals. I think they take the AFC North.
I'm going to go a little different with you. I think Browns. I think they're going to be okay when Deshaun Watson comes back. All joking aside, the guy's a good quarterback, so.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to put him in the league. But I think this division itself, you would call it in boxing the undercard. AFC West is the powerhouse. But look at these four quarterbacks in this league, or three quarterbacks, and then you got Kenny Pickett. You got Joe Burrow, Deshaun Watson, and Lamar Jackson. That's not a bad undercard if you ask me. I'm going to go a little different. I'm going to go bottom up. I'll say the Steelers finish last. I think this will be the year that we see Mike Tomlin not get a winning record. I think Ben Roethlisberger retiring is going to hurt them. They're going to be a couple years away. I think the Browns are going to be right there with them, 7, 8 wins. I think when Deshaun Watson does come back, he makes a little difference. I'm going to go Bengals regress a little bit because of how well they did last year. And their defense is going to be okay. I think their offense, they got to stay healthy, got to keep Joe Burrow healthy. Joe Mixon, you got Jamar Chase still, T. Higgins, they're going to be electric. But I think the Ravens and Lamar Jackson, this contract thing, you're looking at a potential MVP of the league here. And J.K. Dobbins is coming back, and you got a sleeper wide receiver in Rashad Bateman. And you got, in my opinion, somebody equally as good as Travis Kelce. And he doesn't get the recognition.
Kenny, real quick, Kenny, just check your mic because it's very echoey. So I'm not sure if you change that setting again when you get a chance.
Yeah, that's a good point, Kenny. A lot of people say Kelce, he's the best tight end in the league, but Mark Andrews is a guy that you can't sleep on either. He was a big reason why the Ravens had a successful year last year. So you can't count out Mark Andrews and Lamar Jackson as well with the Ravens.
Exactly. Anything, guys, on the NFC North you want to add?
We got a question for the NFC North. I'll start this with Paul. I'll go Paul, Ryan, and Sis with this. Paul, Super Bowl hangover with that top schedule for the Bengals?
I'm going to say yes. I think they're going to regress a little. They have a really difficult schedule. So I'm going to say a slight regression.
Ryan, what about you? Super Bowl hangover for the Bengals?
I mean, what are we talking about in terms of a hangover? I don't think they make the Super Bowl again, but if you're asking me if I think they're going to lose 10 games, then no. So it depends on what degree we're talking about. I think maybe a couple too many Michelob Ultras, but not a blackout.
Sis, what about you?
I still think they'll make it to a playoff game, and then, like last year, what happens. So I wouldn't count them out. I'll tell you that much.
Okay, and then one more question. I'll go the other way. Sis, I'll start this with you. Lamar Jackson saying this team has until Friday to get a deal done for this year. Does it happen by Friday? Does he sign the extension?
Well, that's a great question. I guess if he doesn't, Baltimore's in trouble.
Ryan, what do you think? By Friday, does he sign?
Pardon me. I'm gonna have to say yes. I think Baltimore will take care of him just because I think that they have to look at um, what they'll have if he doesn't resign, and I think that that's gonna put their feet to the fire a little bit.
And Paul.
I think they will get it done. Yeah, both sides will agree.
Okay. Kenny and Carson, anything on that? Lamar Jackson, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, he'll be fine. The Ravens would be insane not to re-sign Lamar after the seasons that he's put up with them. His agent and him are playing a little dance with the front office right now to get every little penny out of that extension that they can.
And Kenny.
No, I agree with everybody. I think Lamar Jackson has nothing to worry about. I think they're going to give him what he wants.
Okay.
He's too valuable to the Ravens. And I think you're going to see it as a potential MVP candidate this year.
Okay.
Let's do predictions, AFC North. I'll start with Carson.
Yeah, I still think it's the Cincinnati Bengals. Too much electric firepower off that offense. You guys mentioned they do have a really tough schedule to start the year. But in the back end of the season, I think they'll be just fine. That's kind of when the season matters the most, is towards the back end of the schedule. So I still think the Bengals. I'd go Bengals, Ravens, Browns, Steelers.
Kenny, can I just interrupt you real quick? Carson, I got to say, you're cut off like on my screen, so I see just like the top of your shoulders. But you look like you're wearing a Broncos jersey. Are you jumping on the bandwagon? Do you want to jump on?
It's a Tigers shirt.
I know, but it looks a little orangey. I just, because listen, we're taking applications. We're gonna be
Where's your jersey, Kurt?
I'm waiting until Monday to make my choice for Monday night.
Well, don't let him sway you, Carson. He's trying to sway you.
Always.
It's funny.
Okay, sorry.
My
Kenny.
predictions are very similar on the little bit, not similar, I should say. I got the Steelers finishing last, Browns third. I got the Bengals finishing second as a wild card, and I got the Ravens winning the division and taking the division. Anything else, AFC North, boys?
You want our picks?
You want our
Yes, I want your picks. I'm sorry. We'll go Kurt, Sis, Paul, Ryan. That's how I see it on my screen.
All right, I'm going to take Baltimore. I just think, again, good defense. They're going to run the ball. So I'm going to take them to win the division. The Bengals a close second, and getting back to the wild card. But I agree with Sis and Ryan. I do not think they will be going to a Super Bowl or even an AFC championship this year. So Baltimore division, Cincinnati is my wild card there.
Sis.
Exactly the same.
Paul.
Ravens, Bengals as a wild card. I have the Steelers finishing third over the Browns. I think Deshaun Watson being out all those weeks will definitely be a big hindrance to the Browns.
And Ryan.
I'm going to go Cincy number 1. I'm going to go Pittsburgh number 2. I'll go Cleveland number 3, and I'll go Baltimore 4th.
Wow.
They're very different there.
Wow.
I like it.
Wow is right.
Quick follow-up question. They finished 4th in the division. You're not re-signing Lamar Jackson, or is Lamar Jackson get hurt? What's the reason for your quick answer response is why Ravens 4th? I'm just curious.
It's not, well, for one thing, they lost a couple of pieces that I think were bigger than some people think, particularly on the offensive side of the ball. But also just, I think that Pittsburgh, they always find a way to perform, even if they don't do it in the playoffs, they find a way to outperform some of their rosters. And I think that I like their running game and their defense, and Coach Tomlin, I think, is a great coach. So, I do think that it's going to be more, I think, based on how great the division is, even with Cleveland missing Watson. That's kind of the main reason why I have them pushed to the bottom, but I also do think that some of those losses offensively will hurt them.
Kenny, if I could chime in, I agree with Ryan with Steelers. I think you're going to get the old style Steelers this year. I think those days of Roethlisberger throwing it 70 times all over the yard, that's done. They're going to run it with Sis's boy Najee Harris. Woo! They play a great defense. I'm telling you, the Steelers are going to be a lot better than people. I don't know if it's going to be Trubisky or Pickett, but those guys aren't going to be asked to do a lot. It's going to run the ball, play defense, and they're going to be there.
Nice. Carson, you got a few more minutes with us, or do you
Yeah.
take it? Okay.
Yeah, keep going. Yeah, I got like 15 more minutes.
All right, perfect.
Cool.
Let's move on to the NFC East, and we know this is Ryan's an Eagle fan, and then
Yes.
Sis, Paul, and myself are Giants fans. So Sis and I agreed we're going to let Paul and Ryan host this NFC East segment. We'll give Ryan the floor first and give us a 2-3 minute preview on the Eagles, and then we'll go to Paul. And then if Sis and I want to add anything, we can add something on the Giants.
All right. So as far as Philadelphia is concerned, you have to look at the offseason they've had. I mean, even people who hate the Eagles are saying that, it's hard to find a better offseason this past year than the Eagles had. Now, obviously, the games are, the Super Bowl's not won in the offseason, and anybody who's an Eagles fan remembers the Dream Team disaster of 2011. So got to hedge our excitement and our optimism a little bit. But some of the additions that they brought in, A.J. Brown as wide receiver, defensive tackle Jordan Davis, 2 starting linebackers, Reddick and White, a couple of additional linebackers, N'Kobe Dean from Georgia, starting corner in James Bradbury, thank you Giants, and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is strong safety. And the guys that they lost and traded, they weren't projected as starters for the team, and they aren't projected as starters with their new teams, with the exception of Steven Nelson in Houston. So they brought in a lot of talent in the places where I think they needed to bring in talent. They finally addressed linebacker after overlooking it for way too long. They got Hurts, a legitimate number 1 wide receiver. Now he's a couple of years ago where, Carson Wentz, they were saying Carson Wentz was throwing to a bunch of kitchen chairs. Now you got Brown, you got Watkins, you got Smith. You got a legitimate top 3 wide receivers there that can hang with anybody in the NFC. And I think that going forward into this season, this is Jalen Hurts. I mean, I'm a big Jalen Hurts guy, but this is his time to, put up or shut up. If they don't go out there and get, not just, I don't think you can just win 10 games with this team. I think you've got to go in there and win a playoff game or 2. And if you don't do that, they got 2 first-round picks next year in a very quarterback-heavy draft, including my guy Bryce Young. So if they don't really make some noise, and if Jalen Hurts doesn't show he's the guy this year, I think are going to be in a very fine position to move off him and bring somebody else in.
Awesome. Paul, you're up with the Giants. Give us a little Giants breakdown.
All right. Well, welcome to the new New York Football Giants era. As we know, they got rid of the old and swept out Joe Judge and company and brought in Joe Shane and Brian Dable to the delight of most Giant fans. But that being said, it's going to take time. Unfortunately, salary cap issues, overturning of the roster, first-time head coach with Brian Dable, tough decisions on player personnel. The keys are going to be Daniel Jones. Everybody has an opinion, good or bad, about Daniel Jones. Obviously, the Giants didn't pick up his fifth-year option. It's make or break for Mr. Jones this year. Either he's going to be able to show something, or the Giants will definitely move on because he's not Joe Shane and Brian Dable's quarterback. The other keys, Saquon. Can he bounce back after 2 injury-plagued years with a revised offensive line to show that he is touched by the hand of God and did what he did back in 2018? If he can bounce back, maybe the Giants can build their offense around them, which leads me to the health issue. Have we seen a team with more injuries than the Giants have over the last few years? They have to stay healthy. The receivers have to be there for Jones to be successful. The offensive line, where they've been decimated already before the season has already began, they have to stay healthy to give this guy a chance to throw the ball and for Barkley to run the ball. On defense, they brought in a guy who I always wanted, Wink Martindale, and the name of the game is pressure, pressure, and more pressure. I love it. However, with the pressure, we need to have the secondary play solid. In the preseason, that was not the case, and they picked on who is going to be the starting second defensive back, cornerback, Aaron Robinson, who was picked on throughout the whole preseason. That's going to be a big issue, especially if they leave him out on an island like that. Clearly, the Giants are a work in progress at this point. There's a lot of things that need to go right for them to win maybe 5, 6, 7 games. Hopefully that will occur. Health is clearly one of the big issues. And I think the offense, if healthy, can be productive between Dable's play calling and Mike Kafka, who they brought in from Kansas City. And as everybody knows, he coached Pat Mahomes. Hopefully, all of those can lead the offense to a better result than we've had the last few years.
Paul, question for you. I'm going to go to you first. I'm going to hit all the Giant fans. Then we got an Eagle question. It's from a Jim Virtue. Paul, what do you think we'll see out of Saquon Barkley this week?
Let me answer it this way. I don't know so much this week, but I think based on what they've been saying, how good he's looked in practice and preseason, the guy is 100% healthy. And if the offensive line can give him opportunities, I think they're going to utilize him not just as a runner, but also as a receiver. I think Dable and Kafka know he's an excellent receiver. I think they're going to utilize him all around the offense, and I think he can be the guy that hopefully they thought he was going to be back in 2018.
Sis, what do you think Barkley this week? What do you think we see out of it?
Limited. Yeah, you're not going to see him carry the ball 30 times. Maybe 15 to 18 carries. Like Paul said, I agree with him. Little swing passes out of the backfield. I don't think you're going to see Daniel Jones taking huge shots down the field. Maybe 1 or 2. Excuse me. They're going to keep it simple. They're going to simplify it for him if they're smart. I like Wink's defensive scheme and everything. The thing that worries me about that is when the Giants corners who they have now are left out there by themselves, especially this week, that could be a major issue, big time. And I'm agreeing with Paul. I think it's going to be this is a 2 or 3 year process for the Giants. So I think I've stated this before. If they win 7, 8 games, I'll be extremely happy because I'm not expecting them, to do anything more than that. Being realistic, it's Philadelphia, Dallas, Washington, and probably the Giants in that order to finish in the NFC East.
Kenny, real quick, Barkley this week. Any? What's your prediction on what do you think we see out of Barkley?
I agree with Sis. I think 15 to 20 carries, but I think you're going to see more of Dable's style of offense where he throws the ball. You're going to see Barkley in this pass game a lot. And you got to remember, Barkley's in a contract year, so it's make or break for him too. So he's got to come out and perform. And I don't think the Giants are just going to, ease him in. That's just my opinion. I think he's going to be a big part of the offense, not necessarily running the ball like he said 30 times, but I think you're going to see 5 or 6 plays directed at him in the pass game.
And I got one for Ryan, another question, a statement, agree or disagree. Alex Singleton, who was from the Eagles, is going to tear it up for the Broncos. Eagle fans weep with a smiley face. Are we going to like him in Denver, Ryan?
Okay, so I'll put it this way. I thought that he was at times better than people gave him credit for. However, there's a reason why he was not re-signed on a team where linebacker was their biggest need.
Okay. And I'm going to go to, I'm going to start this with Ryan. Let's do a quick rapid fire. One name. We'll start with Ryan. Giants MVP this season. I'm sorry, start with Carson. Giants MVP this season will be who, Carson?
Man.
Hey, Carson, you could say Kenny Galladay. We won't.
Yeah.
He's stumped. He has nobody. He's stumped.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Daniel
Oh.
Jones. Obviously, I think it starts with the quarterback. A lot of people passed on him, but he's a solid, decent quarterback. I think he keeps you guys in a lot of the games. So I'm going to say Daniel Jones.
Ryan, Giants MVP. Not that you care one lick, but just to answer the show, Giants MVP. If you have to throw a name out there.
Well, I was going to say the fans for actually watching all 17 games, but
Oh my God.
no, but in all seriousness, I do think that as the team starts to get built up around him a little bit, I am going to go Daniel Jones as well. I think that he is a quarterback who has not gotten to really show everything he can do because of some of what he's had to deal with. I do think he's a candidate for not necessarily a breakout, but for a step forward. If they can get some of the things going right in the offense.
All right, I'm going to go a little different. I'm going to go Barkley. I just think it's his last year of his deal. Two things. One, he's playing for a contract. And two, the Giants have to decide if they're going to pay this guy. And you know what? I mean, you can't be babying him all year because if not, then, how are you deciding if this guy's going to make 12 to 15 to 20, or how much he's going to want a year on a next contract? So I'm going to say Barkley. Sis, what about you? MVP for the Giants this year?
All right with you, brother. Barkley. You hit it right on the head. He's playing for a contract, so he's going to really have to show his wares. So, yeah, I'm all in on Barkley.
Kenny.
With you and Sis, Barkley all in contract year. And it takes 2 years to overcome that injury that he had, they say. So he's in for a big workload, and he's going to be the MVP of the Giants.
Paul.
I'm going to go with Daniel Jones. He's also playing for a contract. Don't forget the Giants turned down his fifth-year option. So whether it's with the New York Football Giants next year or some other team that he can play for, he's playing for a contract. And I think if he's, again, the big if is if he can stay healthy and they can give him opportunities, I think he can hopefully produce.
Sure. Why don't we do this? Why don't we do our predictions for this division, and then we got to say goodbye to Carson.
Okay.
So why don't we do our predictions? I'll go Ryan. I'll do the NFC East guys last. So I'll go Kurt, Carson, and then the rest of us will go. Kurt, what's your predictions in this division?
You know what? Ryan's gonna like this, but I'm. You guys say all in. I'm all in on the Eagles. Ryan made a great point where he said about he's not gaga over Jalen Hurts, but I give this team credit because they're giving Jalen Hurts there's no BS with where you need a weapon. There's no weapons you need now. This team's loaded. You got running backs. You got Goddard. You got Devontae Smith, Sis's boy. You got AJ Brown. I mean, if he can't handle it now, this guy, is he really a quarterback going forward? And I like what Ryan said also. No 10 wins and see what happens versus Tampa Bay last year. Win at least a playoff game. Get to that divisional round. I'm going to go Philly to win this division. I have Philly, Washington, your Giants, and the Cowboys last. But I'm going to go Philly.
Music to my ears, at least.
Wow.
The Cowboys in last. All right. Carson, let's get your predictions.
Yeah, it's an interesting division. I like what you guys are saying. I'm also high on the Eagles. I'm not that enlightened that my Lions have to play the Eagles week 1. So good luck to you, Ryan. But yeah, it should be a good game. I like you just said, Kurt, this is kind of a prove it year for Jalen Hurts. They don't know what they're going to do with if they're going to extend him or if they're going to look elsewhere. But, he's got all the weapons around him this year when you go out and sign a big time free agent, a big trade that they did with AJ Brown with that offense. I think he's really underrated. Cowboys, Dak Prescott and Zeke, they're going to do their same dilly-dally dance every year. They're going to make the wild card and then they're going to lose in the first game of the playoffs. Giants, I think, could be a big question mark. I do see you guys do improving, like Paul said. I think it's going to come down to injuries, and if Saquon can stay healthy this year. Commanders are a sneaky team as well. See what happens with Carson Wentz. I like Antonio Gibson, a solid defense over there. So if I had to pick, I would go Eagles 1. I go Commanders 2, Cowboys 3, Giants 4. I think that's the way it's going to play out.
Let's go to Ryan next.
All right. I think that I do think that Philly ends up edging out Dallas at number 1. I don't say this every year, just to make that clear. But number two, I do think Dallas. Until I see otherwise, I have to assume it'll be Dallas, just because they've been good enough the last few years. But now that the division's starting to get better, we'll see if they really can hang. But I do think they're number two right now. And I do think they have the best quarterback in the division in Dak Prescott. Number three, I'm going to go to the Commanders, just because I think that their pass rush is going to win a couple games for them, or at least one or two games for them. And I think that'll be enough to put them into that number three spot, but I think it's going to be a distant number three over the Giants at number four. I don't see enough there for the Giants yet with a new coach. Not sure what Daniel Jones is going to be, and I just think there's too many question marks there. So I got them at number four.
I'll go next real quick, just because a little trash talking. I'll go Cowboys on top, just because Ryan's an Eagle fan. I'll go Eagles second and not win the division. Okay. I'll go Giants 3 and Washington 4. But I would not be surprised if Washington becomes a little sleeper team in the NFC this year. We'll go Paul, and then we'll round out with Sis, and then we got to say goodbye to Carson.
All right. I'm going to agree with you, Kenny. I'm going to go with the Cowboys. As Ryan said, Dak is unfortunately the best quarterback in this division. And that doesn't mean the Cowboys will go far once they make the playoffs. One and done as usual. Eagles will make the playoffs, though I am not high on Jalen Hurts. I don't think he's that good, even though they've surrounded him with unbelievable talent. And I hope for your Eagles' sakes, Ryan, this is not your Achilles heel. Commanders will finish third, and my Giants will finish last. Again, too many questions. I'm being realistic. It's going to be a process, unfortunately, a slower one than most Giant fans want to admit. But the Washington will finish third, and the Giants last.
And Sis, round it out for us.
I think I already told you the Eagles are going to win the division. Dallas will be second. Washington will be third, and the Giants will be last.
Any other questions, NFC East? All right. We got to say goodbye to Carson, fellas. It's been another great evening with you, Carson. We will catch you tomorrow. And
always a pleasure, Carson.
Your closing thoughts, and let us know where you're going to be tonight.
Yeah, good. Yeah, for sure. Thanks again for everybody watching the streams. Appreciate you all stopping in. Looking forward to football. Shout out to all the people on the panel for chatting with you guys again. And yeah, like Kenny and Kurt said, looking forward to Wits and Wagers tomorrow.
Kenny,
and
real quick, let's get his Super Bowl pick.
Oh yeah, let's get your AFC, NFC, and your Super Bowl winner.
Oh, wow. Okay. 49ers I like a lot this year. I think Trey Lance is going to have an explosive year with the 49ers and that scheme with Debo and their coaching staff. So I go 49ers with NFC, and I go with the Chargers AFC with Herbert.
Ooh, stole my thunder.
I think Herbert wins MVP too. He's my MVP
my God.
Year.
Okay, yeah. We had MVP written down too, so I'll write down Herbert for MVP.
And I have the Chargers winning it all.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, those are my two picks. So pretty bold, but I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, always a pleasure talking to you guys.
And where are we going to be tonight, Carson? Where are you heading? Where our audience can find you?
Yeah, if you guys like casino content, I'll be live on my Twitch streams. Just search up Ticket Time, and you'll find me over there. If you guys like casino games, slots, blackjack, craps, the whole 9 yards, that's where you can find me as well.
Awesome, Carson. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.
See you guys.
See you later,
Good night, Carson.
Later, Carson.
Here, buddy.
Okay, the one and only Carson Shear. He'll be back tomorrow.
Yep, and we got to get his logo. I got to work on that so we can put it on our show. Let's move on, guys. We're moving along. Let's try and pick up the pace a little bit on a couple of these other conferences. We all got to talk about our teams. Kurt will get his chance later. But first, I got Kurt and Sis breaking down the AFC East. Kurt, why don't you take it away? And Sis, you're with him.
Yeah, I mean, I think this division is probably one of the most overwhelming favorites with the Buffalo Bills. You know, you got Josh Allen, unbelievable player, probably MVP favorite this year. And let's be realistic, guys. I mean, that team probably, if the defense doesn't collapse, I mean, they're probably, listen, they're going to go to the Super Bowl. They're not going to lose that game at home, and they might win the Super Bowl. So I think they're the class of that division. And again, I'm interested to hear what Sis says in a minute, but I'm a little higher on Miami. I am. I like, again, just like we're saying with Ryan's Eagles that they're giving Jalen Hurts everything. I think the same thing with Tua. There's no BS with him now. You need a deep threat, you got Tyreek Hill, right? You need a running game, you got Chase Edmonds. You still got Waddle. He can't say he doesn't have weapons, right? He's got a great play caller now, and McDaniels coming over from the Niners. So what's his excuse going to be? So I like them. I'm higher than a lot of people think on the Jets. I really am. I mean, wish they were starting Wilson instead of Flacco, but eventually we'll get there. And I'm going to be honest. I think the cellar dweller this year is New England. I think it might be over for Mac Jones as a Patriot quarterback this year. He regressed. He did not look good at the end of the year last year. So that's my fault. That's
and
my
Kurt, real
AFC
quick
East.
before I get Sis's thoughts. No Teddy Bridgewater mention?
No. No. He's where he should be, making $6 million as a backup.
Give us your thoughts on this division.
Yeah, it's a two-team race. It's between Miami and Buffalo, and I don't think the Jets are going to be very good. So I disagree with Kurt there, and that's pretty much it.
Guys, Mark Calderio saying good evening, gentlemen. What's up, Mark?
What's up, Mark?
Hey, Mark, how's it going?
Hey, Mark.
I got a question. Zach Wilson, Kurt, Sis. He doesn't put up great numbers this year. Are you looking for and let's say the Jets are in the top 10 draft pick next year, loaded quarterback class. Do they go look for a quarterback, Kurt?
No way.
By the way, Keith is saying Jets, Jets, great draft class. Listen, Kenny, I've argued this with everybody on the panel for years. I don't understand, listen, if they love Bryce Young or CJ Stroud more than Zach Wilson, why not take him, right? Again, the Arizona Cardinals did it. We took Josh Rosen. Oh, he was terrible. Go get Kyler Murray. That's a mistake. That mistake could last you 10 years. Go get the guy. If he flops, listen, anyway, you're still going to get something for Zach Wilson. But if you like Sis and Ryan's boy, you got to go get him. Go get him.
And Sis said no, so I just want
Yeah, I mean, you gotta let the season unfold before you could start saying they're looking for a quarterback and everything. So I totally disagree with that statement at all.
Fair enough. Ryan, Paul, anything for AFC East?
Yeah, I'm just going to throw my 2 cents on that Zach Wilson. I think they really like this kid. I think they want to give him every opportunity to succeed. And, I mean, they didn't have the offensive weapons last year. Obviously, he's hurt now. They've got to give this guy at least a full season to see what he can do.
Absolutely.
And I think Salen likes him. I think they really, really want to see he can be their quarterback. So just throwing that out there. But I agree. The Dolphins I can see moving up this year. I think you're right, Kurt. They've given him every opportunity to succeed, just like Jalen Hurts.
Guys, Manny DeLima saying good evening, fellas. What's up, Manny?
Hey, Manny, how you doing?
Hey, Manny.
Ryan, any questions AFC East for the fellas?
Questions, not really. I talk about the Zach Wilson thing, and when he was drafted, I was I was not as high on him as other people were. It kind of was like Sam Darnold a couple of years before. I didn't see what a lot of people saw with some of those guys. So yeah, I'm if you're going to the rankings, I think that the Jets can finish third, and Patriots four. But I don't think that they're going to finish a lot better than that.
But Kenny, let me real quick, give me 1 minute on this for Paul, for the guys, anyone saying about the Zach Wilson thing, right? So just say Zach Wilson and Bryce Young are in the same, I mean, they're going to grade them the same way, right? It doesn't matter that they're 2 years apart. They're still grading them the same way. So Sis, if they really look and say, man, we could go get Bryce Young. He's better. We grade him and we project him better than Zach Wilson. Why won't you do it? It's not about, it's the same thing with a coach. All right, why would you keep, let me ask you something. If you guys like Dable, but Bill Belichick next year says, I want to finish my career at the Giants, you're just going to say, we got Dable. Sorry, Bill Belichick. Like, I don't believe that. I look at the Arizona Cardinals, and they're the team that did it, and look what they did. They would have been a nightmare with Josh Rosen. Nightmare. They did the right thing. Hey, we draft them. Mistake. Let's take care of it. Why can't the Jets do that, sis? I don't understand why.
Because you can't say they made a mistake here. I think Paul nailed it.
But he's going to play this year. You're going to see him this year.
Well, I'm saying you got to give the kid at least a year under his belt, number one. Number two, for them to get Bryce Young, they're going to have to maybe win 4 games. So there's a lot that's going into this.
Okay, we got a question. We got a question for Sis, Kenny. Oh, real quick, Paul. Keith is saying to Sis, what if Nick Saban, in all seriousness, next year says, I want to go to the Giants? Do you keep Dable?
It's not gonna. That's not gonna happen. So
okay, Belichick, that could happen.
I don't play fantasy football.
But no,
for
Belichick,
this reason.
Belichick. What would you do?
I think you guys missed the point on my question. My question was if he underperforms this year, meaning he has a full year. Do you look? And Kurt said yes. And Sis said no. But I just want to clarify that he has a mediocre year. That was. I just wanted to clarify the question. Okay.
Stick to that fantasy football when it comes to this.
I think mediocre year. He's got Elijah Moore. He's got Denzel Mims, and he's got Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall at running back. Mediocre year. Top 5, top 10 pick. Maybe not top 10, but top 5. If Young or Stroud is there for you, I think you got to take it.
I will say this: the Jets have a very difficult schedule, so it may not. Their record may not actually
records
show.
Don't mean anything. The stats are what I want to see. If he has 20 interceptions, if he has 20 interceptions and is mediocre, I'm maybe looking. But if he's performing and the defense is giving up 35, but he's putting up 3-4 touchdowns a game, he's my quarterback of the future. Simple.
Real quick, Keith is saying, ha ha ha, fantasy football. Love you, sis. He likes that comment. Again, Kenny, listen, I could do a show for 3 hours on this. The quarterback position is so important and I look at Denver a couple years ago. Denver signed Case Keenum through a 3-year deal. He got 1 year. After the 1 year, who cares? Trade him, take the hit, go to the next guy. Listen, the next guy didn't work either. But what I'm saying is if you know it's not going to work, why wait? Especially if Bryce Young and Stroud and these kids are out there. Why just give it up? If you know Bryce Young is a better prospect than Zach Wilson, you're crazy not to do it. It's crazy. What are you going to wait? Then the next year we're going to get rid of Zach Wilson. Well, you're not going to see Bryce Young. That's
because you know what the problem, Kurt, is? Here's the problem. Because by the time Bryce Young turns into a great quarterback, he's going to be a great quarterback for another coach, because Robert Saleh is not going to be the coach of the Jets.
No,
that's the problem.
Great point. Okay, Kenny, I'm sorry we got carried
away.
I think
that was it. We did our predictions, right? I think it's over. It's silly to ask predictions, but who finishes second, third, and fourth? Because we all going to pick the Bills to win the division. So, do we need to go second, third, and fourth, or we just move on to the next division?
I'm picking the Dolphins as a wild card. I'll be honest.
Okay. Anybody else got a wild card out of this division? Patriots, Dolphins, maybe the Jets. I think the Bills run away with it. 3-4 games. They're resting their players by week 14. I think it's that easy of a division for them. Anything else, fellas? AFC East.
The only thing that I'll jump in on is a few minutes ago the discussion was about Belichick. If Belichick leaves I don't think the Patriots would ever fire him, but if he leaves New England, I'm not sure. I think it's going to be like Joe Girardi a few years ago. I'm not sure it's going to be another job just lined up for him. I mean, he has not drafted well recently. The last couple of years, they took some control away from him in drafting, and the league is just pivoting away from defense and toward offense. I'm not sure that it's going to be a situation where he leaves the Patriots and another team is just aching to hire him.
Sounds good. Let's move on, boys. We got about 35, 40 minutes left, so I want to get into these divisions that we didn't get to yet. I got the NFC South, Paul. Me and you are going to break this one down, and I think we can do this one pretty quick. Got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Mr. Brady, they're back again. He came out of retirement. You got the Saints, Jameis Winston leading the Saints. They gave him some weapons, and you got the rebuilding Falcons, and you got the Carolina Panthers over there. Give us a little preview on this division there, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about maybe the best team in the NFC and possibly the worst team in the NFC in the division. The Falcons, all you have to say is Marcus Mariota is their starting quarterback. So there's not much that they're going to do, and they may wind up with the first draft pick in next year's draft. Brady has come back. He wants to win one more Super Bowl. They're loaded again, though their offensive line has a few holes in the interior. They lost a few guys through retirement and free agency. I'm going to surprise you and say the Panthers, I think, are going to jump over the Saints by with Baker Mayfield as the quarterback. I think Christian McCaffrey is going to come back, and he's going to probably be the comeback player of the year after his injuries last year. So I'm not all sold on Jameis, and I think the Saints take a step back this year. They're not, Drew Brees' Saints, and I think it's going to be the Bucks, Panthers, Saints, and the Falcons bringing up the rear.
Couple comments. Keith saying lots of Mariota hate. I don't get it. And he's also excited to see the Jets this year.
Yeah, Paul, you nailed mostly everything here. It's the Buccaneers division. I mean, they got a gift. I mean, with the Falcons, 2 wins there, and a couple of the other teams aren't at their level. But I will agree with you. I think the Panthers can be a sneaky team and leapfrog the Saints for second and maybe a wild card, fighting for a wild card here if everything falls into place. You got Christian McCaffrey, if he could stay healthy. You still got DJ Moore, a top receiver in the league. And you got Baker Mayfield now throwing the ball. In my opinion, we'll see what he's got. Is he better than Cam Newton? Today's day? Yes. Today's league, yes, in my opinion. So we'll see. A very young defense and a coach that's on the hot seat. We're going to see what the Panthers are made of, but I think you nailed it. I think it's the Buccaneers division, and I think they win this division by 3, maybe even 4 games. Kurt, guys, you want to ask us anything on the NFC South?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be real quick. I agree with Paul. I think the Panthers are going to be a lot better, especially if McCaffrey stays healthy. You got weapons for Mayfield. Mayfield's going to be in a prove-it year too. Saints, again, Winston, again, not the biggest fan, but Michael Thomas is back. You got Kamara, Olave, a lot of weapons. But I'm still going Bucks here, Kenny. I think this is it for Brady too. I think that the family thing now, it's real, it's real. And, I think he kind of worked out a little deal maybe with Giselle, like, just let me do this one, and then I'm going to be the father, I'm going to be the husband, and that's it. So I'm expecting Gronk to come back in November, December, and they're going to make one whole run, and we'll get to our Super Bowl and NFC Championship predicts later, but Bucks are going to be there.
Sis, what do you think about this division?
Pretty much like Kurt said, nobody's going to beat Tampa Bay. So it's going to be Tampa Bay, and everybody else is just going to fall into line. That's my opinion.
Any of these teams sneak in as a wild card, or are they just going to be mediocre?
I don't know. That's hard to say, but I'll just take Tampa Bay for the time being. Mm-hmm.
And Ryan,
I got New Orleans for the wild card.
I got nobody wild card. Maybe Panthers sneaking in there, maybe as a sleeper. But Ryan, who do you got?
Yeah, so a couple things. First and foremost, I think that Tampa Bay won this division back in March. Secondly, I'm going to go with Carolina Panthers number 2. I think that they got my guy Baker Mayfield. I think he's going to have a chip on his shoulder this year, and I think he's going to come through. And also, I think that Matt Rule is going to be coaching for his job this year. So I think there's going to be a lot of pressure on Carolina, and I think that they will respond to a degree. Number 3, I'm going to go with, Atlanta. Number 4, I'm going to go with New Orleans. I'm going to tell a quick story here just because I think it's funny and it's relevant. So back in March, I actually was I was having a little operation done, and I came out, and apparently I have no memory of this, but apparently the first thing I yelled was, "What did they get in the Matt Ryan trade?" So I come out, and that's the first thing I'm thinking of.
It's great. I like it.
Which I thought was kind of funny, but no, yeah, no, I that's how I see the division going.
Sounds good. Anything else, guys?
No, I think everybody covered it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Let's move on to the AFC South. Paul and Ryan, break this one down for us.
Ryan, you want to go?
Up to you, bud.
Go ahead.
All right, thank you, sir. So AFC South, again, just looking across, in terms of quarterback, I think there's a bit of a split here. You've got Ryan Tannehill and Matt Ryan, who I think, either one of them can be the best quarterback in the division on any given day. I don't think that Matt Ryan has quite the help that he did in Atlanta, when he had Julio Jones, and then at the end there, Kyle Pitts. But I think that either one of those guys can be the best quarterback in the division. I think there's a bit of a gap there between them and Davis Mills, obviously. And then we just don't know what to expect out of Trevor Lawrence. Is he going to catch fire this year with a Super Bowl winning head coach and without the, whatever you want to call it, that was the team under Urban Meyer last year? From a weapon standpoint, I like what the Jaguars have brought in this year. And I think that the Titans are better. This may be sneaky. The Titans just brought in Josh Gordon. If he can stay sober for a few weeks, I think that could be a good opportunity if he's able to, really have not the issues that he's had in the past. And then from a coaching standpoint, I like the Jaguars and Titans as well. I think that the division ends up with the Titans winning, the Colts number 2. I think the Jaguars number 3, but they could be a competitive number 3, depending on what we get out of Trevor Lawrence and how the team adapts under Doug Peterson with all those new pieces coming in. And then Houston, I like Lovie Smith, I like Davis Mills, but they are what they are.
I'll jump in. I slightly disagree with Ryan. I think Matt Ryan is the perfect quarterback to be brought into the Colts after the Carson Wentz fiasco. I think he is a guy, as a seasoned veteran, with the offensive line that they have and the offensive weapons that they have. He's the perfect guy to lead them. And in fact, I have the Colts winning the division. I think Ryan Tannehill has taken a step back. I think he was awful in the playoffs last year. And I can see if Tennessee gets off to a bad start, or if Derrick Henry is injured again, I can see the Titans struggling the rest of the year. So I'm going Colts to win the division, Titans second. I agree. The Jaguars have improved. I think Trevor Lawrence takes that next step up, and the Texans round out the bottom of that division, and arguably they also could be maybe one of the worst teams in football this year.
Keith is going Titans drop to 3rd after winning the division. He's saying Colts win it. Colts, Texans, Titans, Jags.
Oof.
Oh.
Before we get any predictions, any questions on this division, boys? I got one for Kurt, if you guys don't mind.
No.
Kurt, if Trevor Lawrence has a mediocre year, the Jaguars look for another quarterback.
Oh my God!
Listen,
Ryan, you don't know the joke on that one, Ryan.
No.
There's an inside joke, Ryan. There's an inside joke, but I'll let Kurt answer, and I'll tell you the inside joke.
Listen, should they? Yeah, absolutely, they should. But will they? No, because I'll make this statement now. He's the best quarterback in this division, and you're going to see it this year. He's going to be. He will show you why he is going to be a top.
We're waiting.
We're waiting is right.
Ryan, you weren't with us with the show when Trevor Lawrence was coming out and he was in college. Kurt said he was going to be the greatest quarterback since Peyton Manning to come out of the draft.
Yep.
So
I will say
that was my little inside joke because of what he said with Zach Wilson. it's got to fall for Trevor Lawrence too.
I will say this one more time. When they have really looked, and I don't mean Tim Couch and Kyler Murray, when they have looked and said, can't miss prospects, they went John Elway, bang. Peyton Manning, bang. Andrew Luck, you could say he retired, but when he was there, bang. The next one, Trevor Lawrence. They can't miss guys like that, don't miss. Trevor Lawrence will be a top quarterback in this league.
You're right, Kurt.
In all fairness, Peyton Manning was 3-13 his first year, 57 completion percentage, 28 or 26 touchdowns, 28 picks. I'm comfortable giving him at least another year before I'm declaring that he's not what they said he was.
You know, it's funny, Kurt, who those guys you mentioned? John Elway, right?
Yep.
Drafted by the Colts.
Yep.
Next,
Peyton Manning.
Andrew Luck, drafted by the Colts. Peyton Manning, drafted by the Colts.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence, drafted by the Jaguars. It's all in this division.
Yeah. But you know what? Again, like Paul said, they're generational guys. Like, listen, let's be realistic. I'm not going to sit here and say Trevor Lawrence nothing was his fault last year, because just like Ryan said, Peyton Manning had a lot of the most interceptions as a quarterback as a rookie, right? So, listen, they rank him that way because of who he is. I have no problem with Trevor Lawrence.
Let me just say one thing about last year's Jacksonville Jaguars, because it's a family show. That was a crap show with Mr. Myers as the head coach. Okay, so you can almost say in spite of, as opposed to because of, Trevor Lawrence did what he did. Okay, so I think you almost have to give him a do-over because of what went on last year down in Jacksonville.
Quick comment. I'm going to go to Kenny on this one. If David Mills, since you're running me questions with Lawrence, I'll go to this one for you, Mr. Kirkpatrick, and only you on this one. If David Mills has a great year, okay, great year, do the Texans pass on a quarterback next year?
Great year? Yes. Yes, and you trade and you get yourself, there's your rebuild. You got your quarterback now, surprise quarterback, and there's your rebuild. You get some draft picks from somebody who's desperate for a quarterback, and you load up on draft picks.
Sis, real quick, yes or no? Jim,
excuse me.
Bless you. Jim is asking, this should be a good week for Trevor Lawrence to show something. Agree or disagree?
Well, again, Urban Meyer was supposed to be the quarterback guru. So, I don't know. I think Lawrence was a tremendous college player. I don't see it as you do. I think he's an average quarterback. I don't think he's gonna Tom Brady. I don't see it. I don't.
Kenny, Keats coming at you saying one great year. I disagree, Kenny, with the David Mills. I'm with them.
Well, here's my take on it. If Davis Mills got the starting job this year because he did well last year, enough last year. Am I right or wrong? He did well enough to get the starting job this year. So now if he has a better year this year, he's my quarterback.
But who's his competition? My neighbor? I mean, who's he competing against?
I'm just saying, they didn't go out and get a quarterback this year. They could have got Kenny Pickett. Pickett was there for them.
Well, Kenny Pickett's not a franchise quarterback. Bryce Young is. That's the difference.
Remember, you took Georgia in the championship game, right? Last year? Ryan, you listening to this?
Yeah.
And then for the national championship, guess what he did, Ryan?
What?
Jumped right back over to Bama.
Woo!
Yeah, I did.
That's what he did.
They always come home.
That's what he did.
I did.
He learned his lessons.
All I know is I was adamant that it should be SEC versus SEC. Kenny's not allowed to even comment on this with his baby talk teams anymore. Not even allowed to comment with him.
I'm not saying you didn't do that. You did do that.
No, I'm busting chops.
I know.
Let's get our predictions in this division because we got a couple good ones left after this in AFC West and NFC West. So why don't we get our predictions on this? And I'll start real quick. We'll let Paul. Let's let Paul and Ryan go first. They're the ones that did this division. So Ryan, why don't you give us your predictions?
You said NFC West, correct?
No, we're in the South. Who comes out on top?
My apologies. So Titans, I'm going to go first. I love Coach Vrabel. I think that Tannehill has shown that he's a better quarterback than I think he got to show in Miami. I think that they have, some of the better weapons in the division. Colts, I'll go next. Never count out Frank Reich, even though the end of the season last year was kind of brutal. I like their pass rush. I think they've got about as good of a pass rush in that as exists in that division. And then Jaguars, like I said, I think they're a 3 team, but they could be a 3 team that's nipping at the Colts' heels, or they could be a 3 team that's barely beating out Houston. It kind of depends on Trevor Lawrence. I liked the hire of Coach Peterson by them. I liked him in Philly, and I think he's going to do great in Jax. And then Houston Texans, like I said, they are what they are. I don't really see. I like Coach Smith. I like Davis Mills, but you're not putting them in a conversation with, in my opinion, any of the other 3 teams.
Paul, what's your predictions?
Colts finish first, Titans second. Jaguars improve as they finally have an adult in the room in Peterson, and Texans bringing up the rear.
I'll go. I'm going to take the Colts. I think Matt Ryan, perfect quarterback for their system. They got Frank Reich as the head coach. I think Matt Ryan's going to do good things there. A couple breakout candidates for them could be Paris Campbell and Michael Pittman. You still got Jonathan Taylor. I think they're going to win the division. I think Tennessee's going to drop down a little bit and be one of the disappointing teams this year. And I'm going to have Jacksonville third, getting closer to second, and Houston bringing up the rear, kind of like the Detroit Lions of last year. They're going to play hard this year for Lovey, but they're just not going to be good enough. So I'm going to go Texans finishing in the basement. We'll go Kurt and Sis.
Keith saying, Kenny, I agree with you on the Colts. I'm not with you, Kenny. I'm going exactly with Ryan. Tennessee, Indy, Jaguars, and Texans. I am, listen, I'm still high on the, listen, just don't make Ryan Hill have to win games, and you don't have to run the ball with Derrick Henry, play action pass. So I'm with Ryan on that. And Ryan just made one more great point, Sis, and you made a great one before. You said, supposed to be the quarterback guru, Urban Meyer. I call him the QB fraud, because you know what? Paul just said you have an adult. Now you have a real offensive guy, a real quarterback coach, and Peterson with Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, that should help them then. Yeah.
Watch the difference. No gimmicks like they ran last year in Ohio State. Watch this year with him.
Right.
And Sis, give us your predictions.
Texans to win the division. No, I'm joking. Tennessee, Colts, Jaguars, Texans.
Fair enough. Any questions on the AFC?
I'm not sold on the Colts yet.
I'm with you.
All right, that's going to do it for the AFC South.
Wait, Kenny, rapid fire question. Just one word answer, no commentary. Here we go, Paul. Who would you rather take, Jonathan Taylor or Derrick Henry?
Jonathan Taylor.
Kenny.
Derrick Henry.
Ryan.
Derrick Henry.
Sis.
Don't even ask me.
I know. You know what? I think I'm going to have to take this is tough. I'm going to go Derrick Henry. It's tough. I like Taylor.
The cheese stands alone.
I'm going to go.
Let's move on. We got 2 more divisions real quick. These are good ones. We'll start this one with NFC West. And doing this breakdown is going to be Sis and Ryan breaking down the NFC West. Take it away, guys.
Go ahead, Ryan. You can go first.
All right.
I'm a gentleman.
I appreciate it.
And a scholar.
So,
that's my sister. That's not me.
So I think in this division, it's definitely Murray and Stafford are the 2 best quarterbacks. So that automatically, in my opinion, puts them into the conversation. Weapons-wise, I like 49ers and the Cardinals the best. Coach, I think that obviously there's a lot of the sort of best coach in football conversations have McVay and Kyle Shanahan in them. But I think that if you look at some of the past years, they talk about, it was mentioned earlier with regard to Cincinnati, a Super Bowl hangover. I think that that's going to happen to an extent with LA, but on the same token, I look at LA and and a lot of these teams, we talked about this with Tampa Bay a year or 2 ago. A lot of these teams that have these so-called Super Bowl hangovers, they're losing a couple key pieces after they, with the exception of OBJ, the Rams didn't really lose anybody that, makes me lose sleep at night. So, with that in mind, I do think that they're gonna not fall as far as I think that some people may try and believe, just based off of that one aspect that people say, oh, they're gonna regress heavily because they just won the Super Bowl.
This
49ers, Rams, that's it in that division. I think the problem with the Rams this year, Stafford, hopefully he doesn't, this elbow seems to be an issue already. It's only preseason. Now, obviously, the season starts this week. So I think that's going to be an issue for them. And I agree with Ryan that they're not going to get over the hump this year.
You guys got any questions for?
We got a comment for the panel real quick. Paul, I'll go to you on this. How many years left for Pete Carroll in Seattle? And then if he is fired, does he coach in the NFL again?
I think he's going to coach as long as he wants to coach. I really do. I don't think they're going to fire him. I believe he's going to coach 2-3 more years. Maybe at that point he'll decide he wants to retire. I don't think he'll coach after that.
Any questions for the boys? NFC West, Paul, Kurt?
Yeah, I somewhat disagree in the sense that I think the Rams may not reach the Super Bowl again. I think they will make the playoffs. I picked them to win the division again. I like the Cardinals a lot, and I think, like you said, Kyler Murray and Stafford are the two best quarterbacks in the division. And I think the 49ers, in my opinion, take a step back only because Trey Lance, while he, and the operative word to me, could be a very good quarterback, he's still going to be his first full season as a starting quarterback. And I don't care how talented you are. There's still so many things that first-year quarterbacks have to undergo in the NFL. And to me, that means the 49ers may take a hit in the short term. Ultimately, in the long run, he'll be excellent for them. But I think this year might be a slight downturn because of his newness as the quarterback of the team.
Sis, I got a question from a Joseph and Merso. Pete Carroll, well, here's a statement. Pete Carroll has no quarterback this year with Seattle. And his question, sis, is how do you let Russell Wilson go with no replacement?
First of all, to answer Joe's question, in my opinion, he should have been fired after he threw the pass against New England on the 3-yard line on first down when he had Beast Mode in the backfield. So that's how I feel about Pete Carroll. But, I don't know. It's a half a dozen of one and the other, Joe. I'm not sure.
Anybody else want to jump in on that Seattle? I mean, listen, I'm just going to say when I'll break my division down. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I am frightful and Keith's listening, I am fearful so much of Monday night. Why? Oh, it's Denver, it's Seattle. But here we go. Russ coming back home. New head coach. All this momentum. The place is going to be rocking. They're going to be raising the 12 flag. Petrified of this game on Monday night. But I think Seattle's in tank mode. I really do. You're talking about Bryce Young, Sis, and Ryan. You guys might be getting a Bryce Young Seattle jersey because neither quarterback is on their roster going forward.
Yeah. We'll do our division picks. I'm just going to mention, I want to show you Seattle. You were talking about Trey Lance. You got Jimmy Garoppolo in the wings, still the backup quarterback there. But I'm just going to name some of the teams that this team gets to play this year. Bears, Seahawks twice, Panthers, Falcons, Dolphins, Commanders, and then their division games. It's a pretty easy schedule for the 49ers, if you ask me.
Kenny, real quick. Going into Ryan's going to only have to answer this one because Paul and Sis aren't fantasy guys. But Ryan, I don't know if you saw the comment the other night, guys. Kenny's quarterback is Trey Lance. So my comment to him, Paul, the other night in the draft, I said, make sure you take Jimmy Garoppolo because after Denver either shuts him out or keeps him under 10 points in week 3, Jimmy Garoppolo will be back quarterback in week 4. So make sure you sign him, Kenny.
Wow.
Funny.
It's interesting because one of the things that I was going to say was that I thought that even though I had the 49ers finishing second, I thought that if it was a slow start for Trey Lance, they would have no qualms about going back to Jimmy Garoppolo and pulling Trey Lance for either a few games or the balance of the season. Because I think it was Sis who was talking about either Sis or Kenny who thought that he was going to have some growing pains this year. I agree with that, but I don't think that they're going to let him play all 17 games through it. I think that they're going to. I think that was the reason why they brought back Jimmy G was.
Yep.
If he starts slow, they're going to yank him. I mean, this roster is just too talented.
You got a championship window with this team.
Yeah, and
okay.
We argued on the show, Kurt, and I remember when the 49ers moved up for Trey Lance. They moved up for a reason. Now it's his time to shine, and this is on Shanahan and Lynch. If this kid falters,
well, it's not on Shanahan because if you really look, Shanahan wanted what's the quote? New England, Mac Jones.
Yes.
The front office wanted Trey Lance. So we're gonna see. They were not a lot of cohesion on that pick.
Why don't we do our
Sis real quick, Kenny, real quick for Sis. Joseph is agreeing with you, Sis. He's saying Carroll should have been fired right after that Patriots Super Bowl, Sis.
Yeah, that was a travesty.
Sis, why don't you give us your predictions in this division?
What's that?
Why don't you give us your predictions top to bottom in this division?
What division?
The NFC West. Who comes out on top and who's first through fourth?
Tough. Very, very tough. I'm going to say Broncos, Chargers, Raiders.
Oh, wait, we're doing AFC West or NFC West?
No, NFC West.
Oh, NFC.
Oh,
Rams,
I thought you said
Niners,
AFC.
Cardinals, Seahawks.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I thought you said AFC rather. Again, I'm going to say the Cardinals in that division.
Okay, and just a little, anybody in the audience out there, forgot to mention this. We're doing an NFL preview show, but if you want to talk about anything, you're more than welcome to call us. The information's on the screen. It could be about baseball, basketball, fantasy football, whatever you want to ask us, call in. We want to hear from you. So if there's anybody out there who wants to give us a call us in. We apologize for not mentioning that earlier. We're talking NFL now, but we'll change the subject. It's not a problem. Ryan, give us your thoughts on the division.
Yeah, no. So I think that the Seahawks are at the bottom, number 4. Cardinals, I think, are number 3. 49ers, I have finishing second. Again, if they do keep Trey Lance in and he struggles, that could easily fall to number 3. And then the Rams, I see no reason to bump the Rams off of number 1. Obviously, have personal bias rooting for the 49ers in that division, but we'll see how it goes.
I'm going to take the Rams winning the division. I'm going to take the Cardinals second and a possible wild card. 49ers third, but not because of Trey Lance, but because of a guy that's already hurt and their injury problems is going to be George Kittle and Bosa. They got to both stay healthy, and Kittle's already banged up with his groin. So that's something to look into going into the season, to see how banged up he is.
I hear that Britta has a good backup, though.
Yeah.
Cardinals are going to surprise some people. Watch what I'm telling you.
I think so, too. So, yeah. And Seahawks will be going for Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud.
Exactly.
Everybody go in this division, or did I miss somebody?
I didn't.
I thought so. Go ahead, Paul.
I also have the Rams. I have the Cardinals second and actually winning a wild card. 49ers, as I said, take a step back, and Seahawks in fourth.
Anything else, boys? NFC West. Again, if there's anybody out there who wants to call in, talk about anything, open agenda, whatever you'd like to talk about. Our last division. I put myself down to break down with Kurt, but we're all going to break it down with Kurt. So Kurt gets to break down his Broncos, and then we can come at him with some questions for the AFC West.
Listen, what can you say? This is the SEC of the NFL.
Wait, Kurt, I want to interrupt. Let's make this. We haven't done it. I want to make, since you're talking about the Broncos, Briggsy Bronco-mania.
Yes, absolutely.
3 minutes.
First off, Briggsy, thank you, Briggsy. I asked Briggsy to get us a franchise quarterback. He delivered in a huge way. SEC of the NFL, right? Look at the quarterbacks. You got Mahomes, Carr, Herbert, get out of here, Teddy Bridgewater. Get him out of here. We got Russell freaking Wilson. I am so pumped up, Kenny. 6 years. I think it's 6 years, Keith. 6 years from Trevor Siemian, Case Keenum, Drew Lock, Teddy Bridgewater, Driscoll. Who else am I missing?
Paxton Lynch.
Oh, my God, Paxton Lynch. Garbage. And you know what we got now? We got Russell Wilson. We got the best defense in the division. We got the best running game in the division. And now we got somebody who's not going to, score 10 points on offense. We got Russell Wilson. It's Russell Wilson's, people are saying it's his best, set of weapons since he's been in the NFL. And this is a guy that took 2 teams to a Super Bowl with a great defense and a great run game. I am super pumped up, Kenny. I'm just going to, before you guys come at me, I just want to listen. I want you to listen to this. Hold on, little difficulties.
Here's silence. That may be the Broncos fans this year.
Perfect. One more time, Broncos country, let's ride.
Broncos country, let's ride.
Let's ride, baby. Let's go. Before you start asking, Chargers come in 4th, Raiders come in 3rd. January 1st, we win this division this year. The Broncos win the West. Defense, run game with Russell Wilson and a new damn head coach in Mr. Hackett. Let's go, Keith. Oh, Flacco was on that list too. But Broncos win this division. Let's go.
Can I come after Kurt for 20 seconds, guys?
Come at me.
Absolutely.
You mentioned the Broncos having the best defense. I kind of got to disagree with you there. On paper, I think the Chargers may have the best defense.
They haven't stopped anybody in 3 years.
Adding Khalil Mack on one side, Joey Bosa on the other, you're not afraid of that.
No, not at all. Not at all. What's in their secondary?
I will say
Derwin James, Ashanti Samuel, J.C. Jackson. I don't know, Kurt.
Not at all.
Their run defense is not great, but
not at all.
Aside from that.
All right, give us your breakdown on the other teams in the division, Kurt.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Kansas City is going to be a little weaker. Obviously, you lose Tyreek Hill, but just like we were talking about with Aaron Rodgers, right? Just like we were talking about Aaron Rodgers, Mahomes is Mahomes. He's going to make, I'm not going to say he's going to make somebody Tyreek Hill, but he's going to make those guys stars. He's going to be up an MVP candidate. Raiders are always tough. Josh McDaniels, though, he'll again, best offensive coordinator maybe in the league, but as a head coach, he'll screw something up. He always does. But that team is tough. They're physical. They're going to run the ball. They'll play defense. And the Chargers for last. Listen, Herbert's unbelievable. Don't get me wrong. But you're not going to win by just slinging it over 60, winning 48-45. That doesn't happen in the NFL. It never really has. It's not going to happen in the playoffs here. So they got to run the ball, which again, I'm not a believer. I know they got Eckler, but he's more of like a little, scat back kind of guy. And their defense is I'm not a big fan of their defense. So it's going to come down to it. I'm taking the best offense. I'm taking the best defense, the best running game. I'm going Denver in that division.
Let's go to Paul. Or anybody have any questions first for Kurt? Come on, sis. I know you got to have a question for Kurt.
No, not because we're friends, we coach together, whatever. This is the way I look at it. Okay? This is just me. It's Kansas City. It's the Broncos in that order. Raiders, Chargers. new coaching staff, new this, new quarterback, whatever. You have to have that chemistry on a team. If you don't have the chemistry on a team, it's almost like the Yankees. They got a great team, but I don't think the chemistry is there. I think that's why they did an about face. But until you can knock out Kansas City, man, then
you're right, sis. We haven't beat them in 6 years, so
no.
You're right.
And again, I'm not agreeing with you. Just to agree with you, I think the Chargers' offense is going to be tremendous. Their nemesis is their defense is never. They can't stop anybody. So that's just my opinion.
All right, here's my input. You can put a postage stamp over this division. It's that close with these 4 teams. I mean, when the Raiders add a guy like Devontae Adams, arguably maybe the best receiver next to Cooper Kupp. Chandler Jones, yeah. I mean, it's an unbelievable division. As Kurt said, you have arguably the 4 best quarterbacks in the NFL on these 4 teams. I respectfully disagree. I think the Chargers this year, I think Herbert is going to prove, and I picked him also. I forget it was Carson. I think he's going to be the MVP of the league. That's how good I think this kid is. And I think the Chargers will win the division. The Broncos will finish second as a wild card. They will make the division, the wild card. The Chiefs will take a slight setback, and I bite my tongue when I say that, with Pat Mahomes as the quarterback. But the Raiders could finish 4th, and they will be as competitive as any team in the division. So I think you're going to have every game is going to be tooth and nail with this division, and it's going to be within a game or 2 from the top to the bottom with all 4 of these teams. And like you say, the last game of the year is probably going to decide who wins the division.
The best receivers on the Broncos in that division. And if you don't know who that is, I'm not telling you.
Sis, I like it, man. I mean, Keith saying, Kurt, they lose Timmy Patrick, Stulcich isn't ready. Jerry Jeudy, there you go, sis, has a lot of questions, and it's a completely new coaching staff and quarterback. I guess
he's
I'm
finally got
Paul.
A quarterback.
I mean, the Chargers receivers, sis, they are Allen and Williams
but
are excellent.
You're 100% right, but here's what I'm saying as a coach, former player, whatever. Jerry Jeudy has a quarterback now to get him the ball. That's going to be the difference with that kid.
And you know what, sis? Like, not to talk about football, I know a lot of people are down on Jerry Jeudy, but it's not like you gave him a decent quarterback. You gave him the worst quarterback room in football. Teddy Bridgewater, okay, who was a starter, is making $6 million as a backup. $6 million. Nobody wants him. No, he's not a starter. He's a backup. Oh, well, you got Drew Lock. He's a backup. Yeah, but now you got, we got like Paxton. I mean, it's crazy how bad this quarterback room was. And now he's throwing, like Sis says, he's going to catch from Russell Wilson? I mean, are you joking? That's the worst room. And Teddy Bridgewater, where's he? First off, they have him running fake jet sweeps, 9 a game. They don't give him the ball. Secondly, all right, Jerry, it's 3rd and 12. Okay, there goes Teddy Bridgewater, completion 3 yards. That's a joke. Pat Shurmur, Fangio, Teddy Bridgewater. Best thing that ever happened is all 3 of them are gone. And you're going to see it now. Gone. $6 million. $6 million, Teddy Bridgewater. That was our starter.
Kenny, what was the over and under? Kurt would mention Teddy Bridgewater's name tonight.
I should have had it listed at 10.
I'm a little curious. Where did Teddy Boy go?
He's in Miami.
In Miami. Okay. He's backing up Tua.
So when Tua can't throw it 30 yards, they'll add Bridgewater's 12 yards, so it'll be a 42 yards pass.
All I got to say is one thing, and this is why we saved the Broncos for last. You better hope and pray, and this goes for all you Bronco fans, you're going to want Teddy Bridgewater back if Russell Wilson hurts his pinky. Because I would Brett Rippon and Josh Johnson, who they released. Josh Rosen, you even gave a tryout for.
I saw that.
You better hope he lasts 17 games. That's a long season.
Do you know who Denver just tried out, Kenny?
No.
I swear to God. I wish Staffiero and Dave were on. Guess who they just tried out?
Carson Strong?
Carson Strong. He got cut by the Eagles, didn't he, Ryan?
Yeah, so he was undrafted free agent. They gave him a huge contract for an undrafted free agent, and then they cut him, which I don't even know why, because I actually like the kid.
I almost lost my sanity in text messages over the summer with Dave and Staffiero that they wanted to draft him in the second round, Carson Strong. And now he's on the streets.
All right, well, let's get our predictions. We'll go Kurt last. We'll give him because we know what your pick's going to be. I'll go first. Until you knock the Chiefs off, I'm going to go Chiefs. But it's going to be neck and neck, and pick names out of a hat who's going to finish second, third, and fourth. I'm going to go Broncos, Chargers, Raiders. And my bold prediction, everybody in the AFC West will make it to the playoffs. Wow. Everybody. Paul.
Chargers with MVP Justin Herbert. First, Broncos winning a wild card. Chiefs just taking a little step back, and the Raiders bringing up the rear. But again, very, very close.
Right.
I'm going to go with pardon me. I'm going to go with the Chiefs fourth. I'm going to give the, I'm going to give the Chargers third. I'm going to go the Broncos second, and I'm going the Las Vegas Raiders first.
It's not a terrible pick there. It's the worst. A lot of people picking them for fourth, but you can also pick them for first. Take a shot with them. I like that move.
I like Derek Carr more than a good amount of people do, and I think you finally give him Devontae Adams and give him, I think, some sense of continuity and stability in that franchise. Then I think some interesting things can happen in Las Vegas this year.
Good point. Sis, how about you?
Yeah, to me, it's really, and again, not because Kurt's a Bronco fan, it's a toss-up between Kansas City and the Broncos. And you know what? I'm going to go with the Broncos to win it. I'm going to go Kansas City second, Raiders third, Chargers fourth.
And last but not least, Kurt, for Mr. Briggsy, give us your predictions.
I'm going Broncos on top, Chiefs, Raiders. I think Broncos win the division. Chiefs and Raiders are a wild card team. And the Chargers, the no defense Chargers, fourth. And a lot of 48, 46 games for them, but you ain't winning like that.
All right, boys, we're going a little overtime here. So anything else on the AFC West for Kurt or in general?
Good.
All right, so I got a couple more quick things here for us. Let's get our division champs. AFC division champs. AFC wild card, division champs and not division champs. What are we doing? AFC
championship game?
Conference champs, right?
Okay.
And wild card teams. So is there 3 wild card teams?
Yes.
So wait, you're just asking for the AFC championship game?
Do you want the championship game or you want the wild card too?
We do the championship game.
Yeah, championship game.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go myself first. AFC championship game. Bills, Ravens, and the Ravens pull off the upset. Paul.
I'm going to go Bills, Chargers, and the Bills will go into their 5th Super Bowl.
Sis.
Bills, Ravens. Bills beat the Ravens.
Sis and I are same teams, different outcome. I like that. Ryan.
Bills, Bengals, and I had the Bills last year going to the Super Bowl. I think it's going to be dependent on whether or not they remember they actually have to play defense. I'm going to go Bills, Bengals, but I'm going to go with narrowly. I'm going to go with the Bills win this one.
Kurt.
Keith's going Bills, Chargers. Chargers move on. Listen, we're going to have a long run, my Broncos. I'm telling you. They're going to get there, but this is Buffalo's year. Next year, within the next 2 years, we host the Lombardi Trophy again. But this year, Buffalo over Denver in the AFC Championship game. And Ryan, I know you weren't with us last year, but just an FYI, this is what we're going to do. If Buffalo does win the AFC Championship and get to a Super Bowl, last year we didn't see it. Kenny and Sis have to throw each other through the tables like the Buffalo Mafia fans do. So that will be live on air.
We got the table already set up.
We're going to put fire. Sis throws Kenny. Kenny throws Sis live on air if Buffalo gets it.
I love this.
Me with the fire and Sis with the thumbtack. Real quick, I forgot this one, Kurt. Before we, real quick, give me an AFC sleeper team that is going to make the playoffs. Or make a deep run in the playoffs, or we all pick the Bills or Ravens.
I mean, I gotta go. Listen, I would say it's the same team, so I'm gonna say Denver because they're gonna get to an AFC Championship game.
That's a sleeper. My sleeper is Ravens going to the Super Bowl. Paul, Chargers, I guess would be yours.
No, because I have them winning the West. So, if we're gonna consider the Broncos a sleeper, I'll go with the Broncos.
Sis.
Same. You're going to consider them a sleeper, yeah.
And Ryan.
Pardon me. We've been talking about the AFC West for so long. I don't think any of those teams are really sleepers in my mind. So I'll go with this. I'll go with the Miami Dolphins. I think that if Tua can take enough of a step, I think that they have a incredible team roster right now that is, I think one of the top 5 in the AFC. If it's one aside from quarterback at least, if Tua can hit a couple things right, I think that they can push for a serious wild card position.
Kenny,
NFC, real quick, boys.
Kenny, real quick. Anthony Mataloni, Sis, is giving us a live update, and he's saying cold 9 Ks through 4 innings, Kenny. Sis.
That's what we like.
Who are they playing? The Little League team tonight?
They're playing the Twins again.
The Twins. They got the Twins number.
Yeah, except for the 4 errors they had earlier today. My God, you guys almost got a much different version of me after that game.
NFC, Kurt. Well, you're sleeper in the NFC. Let's do sleeper and then your division champ. Not division, conference champ.
My sleeper are the Minnesota Vikings. Loaded on offense, nice defense. Jefferson, Cook. Everybody forgot about Thielen too. He's still there. I'm going to take the Vikings as my sleeper.
Who wins the NFC?
You know what? I think we saw an incredible divisional round last year with the Rams and the Bucks. I think we're going to see it again. And even though I'm not the biggest Tom Brady fan, I think we're going to see Brady in one more Super Bowl. So I'm going to take the Bucks over the Rams.
Paul, sleeper and champ.
Yeah, I was going to go with the Vikings, but just to be different, the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals could make a possible long run in the playoffs. But that being said, I think I'm gonna sip the Brady Kool-Aid one more time, and like Kurt, I think the Bucks are gonna go back to the Super Bowl, and Mr. Brady is gonna ride off into the sunset with his 8th Super Bowl championship.
How about it, Sis?
Well, I said it earlier. The Cardinals are going to surprise a lot of people, so I'm going to say the Cardinals.
And who comes out champion? Yep.
Tampa Bay's going to win it, and then the leash will come off of Brady's neck, and he can go home and retire.
Keith is saying Vikings, Rams, Vikings move on.
Wow, nice bold pick there.
Because Brady's on a long leash.
Yes, he is, Sis.
He tugs and he jumps.
And Ryan, how about you?
So you want my NFC sleeper first? Or
we'll do sleeper first and your champ.
My sleeper is going to be the Detroit Lions. I think that people and people think that I'm bad.
Where's Carson?
Yeah.
Wait, is that after the first game of the year, Ryan?
That's Carson disguising his voice as Ryan, by the way.
Right.
People think that I'm bat. Actually, Paul reminded me this is a family show. Bat squeak crazy, I'll say. for my faith in the Lions. Let's go back to last year. Look at the one-score games they had. Those one-score games go the other way. They are the second best team in that division. Coach Campbell, I'm very high on Coach Campbell. They added some nice offensive pieces, including my guy Jameson Williams. I'm not saying that Goff is any sort of a great quarterback, but I like the new personnel executive they got up there in John Dorsey. I think that they're really putting some things together in Detroit, and I would not be surprised to see the Lions be closer to seven or 8 wins this year. And my NFC title game, I really think that the Rams have the ability, as long as they have most of their core still intact, and as long as the NFC has basically 3 good teams in it, I gotta put the Rams back in there. Sean McVay is just an unbelievable coach, and I'm gonna probably get some crap for this, but I do have the Eagles as the other team. I think that they, like we talked about earlier, I think that they have a great roster, and I think that Hurts does take the next step. I don't think they do enough to get back. I think that the Rams beat the Eagles, and I think that it could be a bit of a mismatch. But just partially based on the fact that I just don't see. I mean, even the Packers. I mean, I'm looking at the Packers, and I don't know that I am as scared of that team as I was 2 years ago. The Bucks last year, they looked like a beatable team, not the same way that they did when Brady first got there, and no, and like we said, the 49ers are a big question mark with Trey Lance. I don't think it's that inconceivable that Philly gets there, but I do think if it's them against the Rams, I do think the Rams win it.
Our sleeper team is going to be the Carolina Panthers. Said it earlier. I think they're going to leapfrog the Saints.
I like that
week division. Baker Mayfield's got a lot to prove, and he's going to prove it in week 1 against the Browns. And if Christian McCaffrey can stay healthy and a young defense, watch out with a coach that's on the hot seat. My championship game is going to be the Packers hosting the Rams. And the Packers, Keith knows well if he's still listening, Montana. Green Bay's near Montana, minus 10 degrees. Green Bay gets it done with Aaron Rodgers because they will make a move at the trade deadline for a veteran wide receiver. And this team will be the NFC champ, and then we'll get our Super Bowl picks.
Okay.
Kurt, why don't you run the Super Bowl picks, and we'll do our closing thoughts in the same thing. So Super Bowl thoughts and closing thoughts, because we're really running late.
All right, let's go real quick. Super Bowl pick, Ryan, and then your closing thoughts.
Super Bowl pick, like I said, unlike the AFC Championship or the AFC big game last year between Allen and Mahomes, I think that the Bills this year remember that they have to actually play defense, and I think that the Bills win that game over the Rams. I think that the Bills win their first Super Bowl, and I think all the "boy, I love losing Super Bowls" jokes can finally go to bed, and I think that tables everywhere get destroyed in Western New York.
And final thoughts, Ryan.
Final thoughts. I'm so excited for this season. Very excited to see not only what my guys do, but what the rest of the league does. Excited to be the lone wolf on here with a bunch of other Giants fans and a Bronco fan and a Lion fan. But I'm very excited for the upcoming season. Got put one up on this weekend for my cousin-in-law Tyler Croft with the 49ers. They're saying with Kittle out, obviously you never want to see someone get hurt. But they're saying with Kittle out, he could see an expanded role. So I'm looking forward to, on top of watching the Eagles, watching that 49ers game this weekend.
Sis, I'll take this before I get to you. Joseph Amerso saying, I guess Dallas has no chance. Sis, you can answer that?
Yeah, I agree with him. I think, again, everything's going to run through Prescott, and he's shown it before. He chokes when it really counts. Yep.
Okay, so Sis, your Super Bowl pick?
Who's going to win the whole thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt in my mind. The Bills.
And your final, you were on them all last year, Sis. All
yes,
last
I
year.
Was.
And your final thoughts?
My final thoughts, it was a great show tonight. Looking forward to the Texas game. It's going to be a very interesting. Obviously, they just played a cupcake team, and I just want to see, like again, Saban, he's got that process. It's a process. Every week, it's a process. Every week, it's a new player. So I'm looking forward to that. And again, I'm looking forward to the weekend. I'm looking forward to seeing how the Giants play. If not expecting a miracle on 42nd Street, but hopefully they keep it respectful. And everybody did a great job on the show tonight.
Thank you, Sis. I'll go next. My Super Bowl again. I want to go with Sis. I want to go with Ryan and Sis, and hopefully for our Buffalo fans. But I just can't do it, man. I think this is it for Tom Brady. He's gonna come through. Listen, that team's gonna run the ball. They got a couple rookie running backs now. Their defense is always good. Brady will just do enough. Do what he has to do. Let the defensive running game carry him. Get a couple first downs, Tom. Now we get to the Super Bowl. He'll be hitting Gronk. Gronk will be coming back and dancing. Then he goes, right? Then he goes to Giselle and whatever he's got to do, or Fox, or wherever he's going, and he'll be done. I'm going Tampa over Buffalo. As for final thoughts, I'm pumped up, man. I've been waiting seriously 6 years for this, and I'm not even joking around. Like, you knew with the garbage quarterbacks we hired, but now we got a Hall of Fame quarterback. We got Russell Wilson with loads of offensive talent, a great defense, an energetic offensive coach. I am so pumped up for next Monday night. My little appetizer will be Sis's 12 o'clock Alabama, Texas. Then I'll just watch all the games. Good luck to your Eagles. Good luck to your Giants. One of you, Carson or Ryan's going to be happy. One of you aren't. Both good luck. And then I'm tuned in for Monday night, baby. So it's here. NFL is here. And by the way, Friday it starts, because I don't know if you're fans, but I know me and Mr. Kirkpatrick Friday. I told Jen, going to get the pizza by 4:30. The first episode of Cobra Kai season 5 will be on, Mr. Kirkpatrick.
Thanks for reminding me.
And stream it, baby. Let's go.
Let's go.
Mr. Rosen.
How do I follow that?
I don't know. I wasn't even thinking. Super Bowl pick first, Mr. Rosen.
Okay. Well, I think once again, I'm going to echo your thoughts. Mr. Brady is going to be sipping champagne for that 8th championship. Unfortunately, the Bills once again are going to be the bridesmaid and not the bride, and they will lose again in the Super Bowl. They can't beat Tom Brady when he was with New England, and unfortunately, they will not beat him in the Super Bowl, and they're going to have to wait one more year. So I think it's going to be the Bucks over the Bills. Don't forget, the Bucks now also have Julio Jones, and I think he's going to revive his career by having Brady being his quarterback. Great show, guys. Excellent. I think we did a fantastic job. Everyone did an amazing job covering the NFL. And I'm looking forward to the Giants again. Listen, it's a process. Unfortunately, like you just said, Kurt, it's 6 years. Well, it's been a little longer for us, but I think we have to give Sean and Dable a chance to get us out of this, and hopefully in the next year or two, we'll be where you are. So looking forward to it. Not having too many expectations, but hey, go Giants.
A couple comments, Mr. Kirkpatrick, before I get to you. Jim is saying yes. I think he's saying Cobra Kai, and Laura Siciliano Virtue is saying yes, Cobra Kai. Kenny, I'm going to give you a little homework. You have all day tomorrow. You have all day Friday before 4 o'clock. Get Sis binge watching Cobra Kai so he gets caught up. Still. 4 seasons you gotta watch. 4 seasons.
Nah, I'm gonna have to watch that on my overnight hours. 12 midnight, 1 a.m. when Sis is.
What is this Cobra Kai? Is it like wrestling?
No, karate. It's the
Karate Kid.
No.
We got a comment from the K&K Sports Show. I think I know who's that's doing, and he's saying "Fly Eagles Fly." So I think that's Mr.
I have no idea why that said it to the show,
Mr.
but
Scoop
you got
saying
the point.
that. Laura's saying yes. Jackie D is saying it's not the OG. Laughing. Come on, sis, get into Cobra Kai. Paul, get into. You would love it. Ryan, are you a Cobra Kai fan?
I have no idea what the hell that is.
It's Karate Kid.
I know what it is. I've heard of it. I have not gotten into it, but I know what
Is that
it is.
is that Mr.
If you didn't
Chinese?
watch the Karate Kid movies,
Yeah, you're not gonna
you
get
wouldn't
it.
know. You wouldn't. You
Is
wouldn't
the
like,
Chinese guy in this?
The
he's
guy
dead.
from Karate Kid
He
2?
passed away a couple years
Again,
ago.
it shows you how much I
Oh
follow.
no, what, the older guy?
Yeah, Mr.
Mr.
Chu.
Miyagi.
Miyagi?
Mr.
No,
Miyagi.
no, he's not there.
I tell you what, you get a better shot of me watching the wrestling before this stuff.
Real
I'm
quick,
surprised
couple
my
comments.
cousin watches
Couple
this. I'm a little
comments.
disappointed.
Ryan started off a thing.
I got somebody on Echo, by the way. Somebody got their,
I think that's me. Sorry.
that's okay.
Joseph is saying Eagles no. Joseph's also saying a Cowboy fan here since 71. And Laura's saying Eagles are going to crash and burn, Laura's saying.
Well, I
Wait,
don't
what
know
did Joe
what
Take it
you
easy,
guys
don't
talking
say I
about.
didn't hear what Joe said.
Take it
We
easy,
might need to
Coach.
do
Go.
it. We might need to do it after hours show for the adult audience. You know, the adults in our audience, because this is getting a little
Well,
dicey.
Kenny,
I
we
love
could
it.
do Kenny. Well, all serious. Next week we could do a Jenny Hoops one, so we could do a Cobra Kai breakdown. They do that on YouTube.
We should set up a ring.
Hey, the only ring you have to worry about is throwing Kenny through the fire table if the Bills win the Super Bowl. All right, Kenny, final thoughts. Super Bowl, and then your final thoughts.
I'm going a little different on the Super Bowl than everybody else.
Of course you do.
I'm surprised nobody went with the Packers. I'm truly thinking I'm going to name two guys that can be available at the trade deadline for this Packer team that can make a difference. And I'm still getting somebody got their. I'm going to mute a couple
Yeah,
people
that's
because somebody's
Yeah,
on.
just mute while you're talking.
Okay, that's better. My Super Bowl pick is going to be Ravens and Packers. I think the Packers are going to make a move, and one of two guys, Michael Thomas could be going to Green Bay, or music to Paul, Sis, and my ears. If this happens, trade Kenny Galladay
I can see it.
to the Packers. Get rid of him. It's my prediction, Packers over the Ravens, 34-31 in a classic. Final thoughts, great show. Echo everybody's words. Cobra Kai Friday, but more important, Wits and Wagers tomorrow. And we got a guest picker, Kurt.
Wait, I have a quick question for you.
Yes.
Packers get a veteran receiver, OBJ.
OBJ's on that list too.
Yep.
Yep.
Laura,
Paul, by the way-
Laura's
by the
saying
way-
she's there for the Cobra Kai get together, Kenny.
Okay.
So we got
Awesome.
another one.
By the way, Paul, you did a great job with the guest pickers. You finished second. So the guest pickers got 8 wins in our standings.
Very good.
I
Oh,
don't have
nice.
the
Thank
official
you.
standings in front of me, but don't know if Jenny Hoops will be on the air with us or if she's just going to do the picks. But Jenny Hoops from All In on High School Sports is our guest picker tomorrow, and Kurt's wife.
A little breaking news. IKF with a grand slam. Mataloni's all over it, sis. 4-1 Yankees. All
I
right,
just saw
boys. Oh, sorry.
Mets are up.
That being said, I think it's time to say good night. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Tomorrow, anybody wants to call in, more than welcome to call in. Give us a question, give us a comment. We're around. Anything you want to talk about.
All right, boys.